Hi, and welcome along to the All Guns Blazing podcast. Hope you like the new intro as well. Right? I weren't aiming that at you.
Wait.
What's that?
Let me start by saying something.
What?
You've been behaving yourself, Robbie.
Yeah, I've been behaving, man. I always behave. I always behave.
Caused a bit of controversy, didn't you?
Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't going to go on about that this week.
Nah.
I ain't going to go on about that.
It's all right,
though.
isn't
said
it?
what I said. You know what I mean? And
as
you say, we move on.
We move on.
We move on.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? And, you know, right now, actually, what I want to talk about is transfers.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're in January. It's that January transfer window. As you know, I've been doing Transfer Daily each and every day.
Hi, and welcome to the show that keeps you up to date with every player we're never going to buy.
Why are you coming into my studio running up your mouth? I saw that little video you done for UFF. Yeah.
Hi,
link
welcome.
To players that we'll never sign.
You name it, right. I'm trying to think. Like, the amount of players we are linked with. Like, what I like about your show is that you're not coming and going and doing the show and saying, this is who we're going to buy. It's not your source that you're using. It's just you're relaying what the news is and what people are saying.
I sort of dissect the rumours.
Yeah.
And sometimes the way some people, they'd be like, Robbie, stop chatting shit. He's never coming. I remember, but you know what? The funny thing is, right, is that, yes, obviously, there's newspapers and people out there that spread a lot of rumours that, honestly, quite frankly, when I see them, I'm like, you made that up. But then there's other rumours that they do have something in it.
Yeah.
Right? I remember last season, right? Last January, right? When we signed Aubameyang. I remember when I first started saying, Arsenal being linked with Aubameyang, the abuse I was getting. There's people, Robbie, why are you getting these rumours from newspapers and then now you're prolonging it because it's absolute rubbish? How are we going to sign Aubameyang? And then I remember I got Guillaume Balagay to come on, right? Because I was chatting to Guillaume Balagay and he was saying to me, yeah, Robbie, hey, this could happen, man. This is and I said, could you come on? We want to do a video about it, right? Because he was one of the first people. And even he, right? I remember I looked in the comments and he was getting so much abuse. There was people saying, oh, Balagay, you always chat shit. They never. And I'm like, people, listen, he's not saying it's definitely going to happen. But what he's saying is there's something in this. Talks have been happening. There is something. Arsenal do want him. Aubameyang does want to come. There is more to this one than your normal, you know. Yeah. So sometimes, listen, don't get me wrong, there are rumours, right? That especially sometimes in the summer, when I'm reading them, man, I'm like, no chance is that going to happen. And there's certain publications as well that they're known for just, you know, it's almost like they think to themselves, it's going to be a bit of a slow news day. I'm just going to put this one out there. Or the link can be just based off of something just so loose. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, the common one can be like, they know that Arsenal, for instance, need a centre-back.
So they'll throw every name
there could be any sort of centre-back that's making noises that he wants to go, and they'll just immediately link him with Arsenal. Right? He's not, there's nothing in it. There's nobody said anything. They've just said, yeah, Arsenal are interested. Yeah. You know, so that happens a lot. But listen, then there's a lot of ones that they are true. There are something in it. There's other types of rumours where the agents themselves deliberately put it out there to the newspapers. I know this for a fact because I've spoken to several agents. I remember I was at the Soccer X conference last year, and an agent was giving me the rundown on how it's done. And he was saying to me, you know, he goes, yeah, sometimes we want to get a bit more money in, excuse me, for a player. What we'll do is we'll start, you know, linking him with a move away, start saying that certain clubs are interested in him and that, get it into the papers and that. And then the club where he's at will start to panic a bit. The fans, if he's a popular player, might start to be saying to the club, oh, listen, you can't afford to let him go. We've seen that a lot over the years at Arsenal. And next minute, you know, bang, he's on a big contract renewal. He's staying at the club. How many times do we see that? Then the player comes out and says, I never said I wanted to go anywhere. No. That was never, you know, what was, you know, I always wanted to stay.
It's mad.
There's a lot of gamesmanship that goes on around the whole transfer market.
And it always seems to be us.
It always seems to be us.
The amount of players we've been linked with, for a club with no money, we're certainly buying a lot of players this month.
I know.
Some of the names we've been linked with.
I know, a lot of names.
Deals had already done, it's already agreed. And until a player is wearing the shirt and holding it up on .com, I don't believe anything. You know, even
that's
when
what I get people saying to me in the comments.
Do you know what I mean?
Robbie, until I see him come and he holds it up, stop talking about it.
But that's the thing.
I'm transfer.
We've
We're
been
discussing
bitten so many
transfer
times.
rumours.
We've been bitten so many times. I remember the Aubameyang thing, what you was talking about. And even when I realised that Ivan Gazidis was pictured with Mislintat next to Aubameyang's car.
Yeah.
And I remember
Nice
seeing the
car as
picture,
well.
and I remember I was one of the first to pull it up and say, that's Aubameyang's car. And everyone was like, no, it ain't. It's got a gold one. I went through his Instagram and found that car. And I was like, I told you. And then what gave it away was on the wing area of the car, he had his initials PEA. And I was like, I told you it's his car. And they were like, oh, well, it's just a coincidence. It must have been there because it was at the airport in Germany.
What was the, hold on, what was the transfer? What was the transfer where Arsenal fans tracked the plane?
Aubameyang.
That was Aubameyang.
There was.
They tracked the plane. It was unbelievable.
If you go onto Flight Tracker, and it shows how many people are watching a certain flight, for example, that Aubameyang flight, when everyone realised he was coming over to London, there was more than 30,000 people watching his plane track all the way over to England. And I was just like...
I mean, transfer business now is like an industry in itself. I mean, look at Sky, you know, with Jim White and the whole yellow tie thing. And I've spoken to Jim White before and he said to me, he goes, yeah, this is like their biggest like transfer window, transfer deadline day, brings them so much views, way more than they normally get.
Yeah.
All of these news publications, right, they love transfer stuff because it gets so many more people reading their newspapers, so many more people on their websites because everybody loves the transfer, innit? We love a transfer. We've got to admit.
You want to have that.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is. And, you know, we're in a period right now where we're looking at players where they might not be exciting because, to be honest, defensive kind of reinforcements are never really exciting.
Yeah, but you know what? Funny enough, I was saying this to somebody yesterday. I was saying, you know, normally when transfers come around, you're looking at that. Those excited, like you said, the Aubameyangs and Lacazettes. You're really excited. Yeah. But now I don't want to be excited at all this month because I just want I want a boring, hardcore centre back is what I want. But we're not really getting linked to that. We're just getting linked to loads of midfielders.
It's very Arsenal-like that we need defenders and we sign midfielders.
Yeah,
it's Arsenal to a T. It's like, don't worry about the defence, man. We'll just pack the midfield and we'll just load it up, score more than them.
Let me go for a few of the
Do you need a bigger piece of paper?
I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to go through some. Let's start off with Ramsey, right? Now, I heard you when you was doing your show today saying that, you know, it's been agreed.
Yeah.
That's a rumour, by the way. It's not 100%.
I did say it's rumoured. I've learned.
Well, you're going to get slaughtered as well.
I did say at the end of it, rumoured.
But it does look highly likely that he's joining Juventus.
Yep.
What do you feel about that?
Kind of mixed emotions, in the sense that I wished it never happened how it has. I wished it would have been a little bit more different. I got no problem with Emery not wanting Ramsey if he doesn't fit into his plans, but the past regime have messed up what Emery could have done with that money. You know, if Ramsey...
What money?
No, that's what I'm saying. If they sorted out his contract beforehand and never pissed around the way that they did, Emery comes in and says, Aaron's not what I need. We would have had a player on a decent contract that we could have sold, and in today's market, easily 50 plus.
Well, Dominic Solanke went from
Liverpool to Bournemouth for 19 million. But this is what I'm saying.
And we've got Aaron Ramsey going for nothing.
That's what I'm trying to say. So we would have commanded a decent bit of money where we could have gone, here you go, Unai, go sort out the defence with that money now. Just like Liverpool did with the Coutinho money. They were able to turn around to Jurgen Klopp and say, go buy your goalkeeper.
2 players.
Yeah, go buy your goalkeeper, go buy your centre-back. They're the 2 key areas you want to do. There's the money, go and do it. We lost that side of it because, you know what I mean? And I just wish it was different.
We've had no players of any value.
No.
Right, because we've allowed all the contracts to run down. So
exactly, it's only now
going
in the last
right
year
back
or
to
so.
Van Persie, to Sanchez, who what did we get 20 million for him because he was in the last year. You know, what I mean, it's just.
Well, it was a swap with Mkhitaryan, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it's just been ridiculous.
But then on the flip side of that, we swapped him with Mkhitaryan, and you're thinking, okay, we got out of that one, but then we've got a player in Mkhitaryan who hasn't hit the height, shall we say, and he's on over 200 grand a week. So how do we get rid of him now?
No, we can't.
Exactly. That's what I mean. There's no value in him. There's no his age.
He has to work.
That's what I'm trying to say.
He has to work.
And the thing is, and I've said this to you in previous interviews, I don't blame Emery for the Ramsey situation in terms of the contract. We all know who's to blame for that, Ivan Gazidis and whatnot. But the decision to let Aaron Ramsey go and not want him as part of his squad is Unai Emery's decision. And he now needs to make sure that this doesn't backfire on him because questions will be asked.
So there's talk of Denis Suarez.
Yep.
Denis Suarez plays for Barcelona at the moment. Bit part player. He's a good player, very good player. Unai Emery had him before when he was at Sevilla. He was there on loan, I think, for a season.
Yeah.
So he knows all about him. He's done all right when he's played for Barcelona. There's a lot of people who think that, he's been a bit unlucky because he's very talented, but he's just got players like Rakitic and people like that in front of him.
What's key is the Barcelona fans' reaction, because I've seen 99% of the reaction from the Barcelona fans is that they don't want him to go. They rate him, and then you've got 99% of Arsenal fans that are saying, who the hell's this guy? I don't want him.
No, I've seen him play. I've seen him play several times. He's a good player.
He is a good player.
But is he better than Ramsey?
We're only going to find out. That's the thing. Unai Emery has a style that he wants his player. He wants ball carriers. And I've said this to you. He wants players that can run with the ball carriers. This is why Rob Holding was so important to his system. Because Rob Holding, out of the three centre-backs, was the ball carrier. He was the one that came out, received the ball from Leno, was comfortable in turning, carrying the ball, moving between the lines, bringing in the midfield, etc., etc. Now we've got players like, like Socrates, for example. He's the opposite to Rob Holding. He's the old school, rough and tumble, smasher. He's not a ball carrier. He does his side. So that's what Unai Emery wants. He wants ball carriers, and he doesn't believe that Aaron Ramsey fits his style. And I've got no problem with that. I've said that. I back the manager's decision.
When he came into the club, he said, boy, he's looking to build a team around Ramsey.
Well, yeah, but then obviously...
And despite the fact that Ramsey's going, he still plays him a lot. And you obviously can see that he rates Ramsey. He seems to see him as a key player.
Well, you're going to still play the guy because he's being paid. He's an Arsenal player, so why not play him?
A lot of times when a player's on the way out and that, they just get
But then
frozen out and stuff like that.
It also depends on the player's mentality. The player's kind of
the
way that he's playing.
Is it ball carrying, or is it just strictly down to money? Because I don't think it is. The fact that Denis Suarez, right, he'll come in, he'll be on what? He probably won't even be on 100 grand a week. You know what I mean?
Well, that's less than Ramsey.
Whereas if they gave Ramsey a new contract, it could have been 200,000. Taking Ramsey off of the wage bill means that they can bring in a couple of players for Ramsey's money. It's down to money, isn't it?
I don't think it's that. I think it's down to the style. I don't think that Ramsey suits Unai Emery's style.
No, I think Ozil doesn't suit Unai Emery's style, and he'd rather get rid of him. But because he just signed a new deal last year, he's on their mega money. Obviously, he's not going to go anywhere because nobody's going to match that. So the sacrificial lamb has been Aaron Ramsey, really. When you look at it, he's been the one to sacrifice because they're looking at who's on the next biggest wages, we're renegotiating his contract. Yeah, you know what? If we take Aaron Ramsey off the wage bill, we take Welbeck off the wage bill, we potentially just freed up £300,000 a week because Ramsey would have had to give 200. Welbeck, a new contract, we'd have to be giving him at least 100. That's 300,000 off of there. We can go out there and we can get about 4 players with that. We can get a Denis Suarez and put him on initially like a 80, and if he does well, we can extend it. We can get other guys. Like you said yourself the other day, Torreira. What did you say Torreira was on?
He's on like about 50 grand.
50 grand a week. Listen, you can go and buy 4 or 5 Torreiras with Ramsey's wages because I think a lot of times people miss that point. We just focus on the transfers and we look at it, we say, 50 million, 25. That's only part of it. What is the big expense a lot of times for the clubs is the wages. If you sign somebody for 4 years or 3 years on, them sort of wages, people are getting like, 5 to 10 million pounds a year, right? And that's a big outlay for a club, and it's not just one. You've got a whole squad getting big money. So Ramsey's a sacrifice. That's how I look on it.
I don't think it is. I think it's more a style. I think it's a style. I genuinely believe it's a style. I believe he just doesn't fit his system. So
Denis Suarez, do you think would be a very positive signing?
As long as he can play like the Suarez that I've seen before he was at Barcelona. What warranted him the move to Barcelona? There's a reason why Barcelona bought him. Simple facts. And
one of the positive.
Getting into the Barcelona midfield, let's be honest, is one of the toughest things to do.
It's very tough.
It is very tough. So let's give him a little bit of respect there to say, yeah, he's got a lot in front of him. If Unai Emery knows him, has played using him, suits his style, you've got to back the manager, And like I said, the one thing that Emery's got to worry about, though, is the backlash if it goes the wrong way around. If he brings in Suarez, fine, no worries, cool. Suarez doesn't do the job. Then you will naturally get people saying, well, why did you bring him in and get rid of Ramsey?
Yeah. It's a gamble, isn't it?
It is a gamble.
I think the other thing with Suarez as well as being a ball carrier, he can play out wide. He can play on either wing. He can play right, he can play left. And it looks like Unai Emery said right at the start of the window that he's looking for wide players.
Yeah.
We all know when we watch Arsenal, we lack width.
Yeah, massively.
We lack natural width. And as I said, he would have seen this guy play. And he played for him, and he would have seen him playing a lot in Spain.
And it was key that when Emery was asked about him last week, he actually mentioned about him playing out wide. He specifically said playing out wide. Now, a lot of people will think he plays centrally because that's where he's played for Barcelona. But Emery specifically said about playing out wide. So, apparently Emery's had a conversation with him on the phone and has convinced him to join. It looks very much like this is one of those rumours that has legs in it. But then on the flip side as well, the other rumour is Carrasco.
Just go before I get to Carrasco. The other thing is about Suarez thing though is that we want to take him on loan.
But Barcelona want to sell him.
Like, we want money, mate. We're a loan thing. We want money. If you give us some money now, this deal could have been done already.
Yeah, or what Barcelona are saying is, okay, you can have your loan deal,
but you have to guarantee that you buy him.
But there's the guarantee buy at the end of the season, where Arsenal are saying, no, we want a loan with an option to buy.
Yeah.
So what Arsenal are basically saying is let's bring him in.
Back.
If he's shit, you can have him back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we've got to buy a player that's, but this is the gamble that Arsenal are having to take right now. And like I said, this is a lot of pressure for Emery. This is where he's now getting into that kind of territory where he's buying his players, and you're now going to start sitting there and questioning whether they work or not. It's like with any manager, with any signing you make, if they don't work, it falls on you. When Pep Guardiola first went to Man City and he bought Bravo, for example, in goal, it never worked. It fell on Pep's head. Well, you bought him in. You thought he could play your style of football. Well, he clearly can't.
Although the thing is, nowadays, how much does the manager have to do with transfers? Because it's not, if you look at Arsenal's structure now, it's not like the Arsenal of old, where Arsene Wenger had like all the say, literally, in who came in and who went out and stuff like that. The new regime is a recruitment team, Sanelli, Mislintat who identifies, and Sanelli who negotiates and stuff like that. And they kind of adopted that model now that they do in Europe, where they sometimes they're buying players thinking so long term, even if so in other words, a lot of times when they're going out, how it's structured in Europe, they go out and buy a player and they say, they're saying to that player, our plans for you at Arsenal is for the next 4 years. And that's regardless of who the manager's going to be, right? And then they bring that player in and then they say to the manager, right, we bought such and such. You got to work with him. You got to make him into a good player. You got to adapt him into this system. And that's kind of the model that we have now. So I think Unai Emery obviously will have a say in the type of players. He will tell the recruitment team the type of players he wants. But the recruitment team are the ones who are going to be buying the players. It's going to be more. It's not going to be like when Wenger was there. And I think that's a better way as well.
Yeah, I think it's key as well, though, that a lot of the players we're linked with are people that have worked under Emery. So he's clearly got to say, he's like, I've worked with him. He's what I need.
Yeah.
Go get it done. So, yeah, you have to say that you think the Suarez thing, he's actually put his name in the hat and said, go get him. And from all the reports, it's that Emery's saying to the club, get this deal done this month. I need that player. Don't piss me around. Go get it done. Find the money. Don't care how you find it. Go get it. And I like that side as well because it's nice. Maybe they could borrow it off you.
Borrow it off you,
but it's nice that we've got a manager, if this is true, that actually questions the hierarchy, that says no. You know, because this is one of the problems we had before under Wenger and stuff, is that he would be, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. I'll do whatever you want and I'll be your protective shield. We never had a manager that was going to say, hold on a minute, I need that player. Give me the money for him. So at least now it looks like we've got a manager that's like, I need that.
Runs up his mouth too much, it could be gone.
Well, that's what we'll wait and see. But
you mentioned him a minute ago, Yannick Carrasco.
Yeah.
Now, Yannick Carrasco is playing over there in China in the Super League. He's been linked heavily with Arsenal.
I was shocked he moved to China in the first place.
Yeah, well, you got to question him for doing that. For a guy, at the time, he's 24, moving from Atletico Madrid. Well, obviously, for the money. At 24, I mean, I know you know a lot of players later on, they move, I remember that Graziano Pelle from Southampton.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, why has he moved to
why
has he moved to China? And he's like, but he was 30.
Remember
and he was getting
Chelsea
250 grand a week.
What's the Brazilian Chelsea guy that moved to China?
Oscar.
He's another one.
Yeah.
Mid-20s.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But it seems like some of these younger players now are going, you know what, let's not wait till the end of my career to earn the money.
Let me go and cash
Let's do it now before I reach my prime. Go get a load of money, and then I'll come back to Europe just before my prime.
But you got to question his thing, if he's just a money guy. Now, he apparently he's not found it very easy over there in China. And I've been to China. It's a beautiful country, but it's a different culture. It's a culture shock. You go to a restaurant over there, it's one of those countries, right, where, you can go to other countries and you can get by with the language. There's certain little words, like if you're in Spain or Latin words that are similar to English words. When you go to China,
completely different
it's
ball
a
game.
culture shock. Everything's different. And then as well, it's not a country where loads and loads of people speak your language. They speak their language.
Yeah.
And good luck to them, respect to them. But they speak their language. They don't really care about, do you speak English? No. Right? So it's not an easy country to adapt to. A lot of people, I've got a friend who lives in Shanghai. He absolutely loves it. And he's adapted to it over the years. And he absolutely loves it now, right? But some people go there, find it difficult because it's such a culture shock. You know what I mean? You go into a restaurant, as I said, the menu is only in Chinese in a lot of places. And that's it.
Yeah.
Right? That's why you got Google Translate now, so that helps you out. That's what we were using when we were out there, innit?
I remember seeing the videos.
Thank God for Google Translate.
I remember seeing some of the videos of you two out there, man. That was hilarious.
But
poor old Troops would have been in absolute hell, wouldn't he, if he was out there, man? He'd have been just delivered fish constantly, wouldn't he? And we know about Troops and fish.
And the other thing is as well, the football there isn't, the levels nowhere near
the
level of when he was playing at Atletico Madrid. The crowds are not as big. It's an emerging football place. So he wants to come back now. He wants to play in the Premier League, apparently. Yeah. And apparently his representatives have met with Arsenal. Would he be a good signing? He was brilliant at Atletico.
I know. He'd be an exciting
He was brilliant.
signing.
He would
Very
be.
exciting.
And we want wingers.
He's
perfect. He can play on the left-hand side as well.
What I will say is that Emery clearly wants players that have a certain kind of discipline when they play. Work rate. You don't play under Diego Simeone unless you have that. Very simple. Yeah, yes, there's going to be question marks of the fact of why he moved to China, and that's understandable. We know why he moved to China. It wasn't for bettering his career. It was to be financially stable for the rest of his life and for his family. And let's be honest with you, if any one of us were given that opportunity, would we take it? Yeah.
Hold on. No, he's on good money already.
No,
and he could have went to another club in Europe.
Even better money.
He wouldn't have got He wouldn't have got that money. But you're playing high level. You're a professional footballer. You want to play at the highest level. Why are you just zipping off to China only with money in your head? You should be a professional. He's already getting good money. Let's have it right. He's not getting rubbish, is he? He's not getting He's not playing for 500 quid a week, is he?
No.
Even at Atletico, he would have been able to negotiate. You know, it wouldn't be nowhere near what he would have got in China, but a decent contract, or he could have went to another club in Europe. But he chose
But that's the only
to go
question mark.
strictly for money.
Yeah, that's the only question mark over him.
So
But
if
in
you
terms
buy a
of-
player like that and he comes to the Premier League and he's doing well, and a year in, Man City say, hey,
yeah, but
can
that's
you rely
why,
that he's going to stick around?
But that's why you put a huge contract on him when you buy him. Because it's simple as that. If Man City, if he flies in the first year in the Premier League and becomes this amazing winger and does everything else, Man City are going to have to spend ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, true.
So,
but then you want to keep hold, you know.
yeah, I know you do.
I don't want Arsenal to be just a selling club.
No,
I want us
I know
to
you
start
do.
keeping
But,
hold of our best players.
you know, if you get offered over 100 million, for example, for a player, then go and...
You know what? I think that's the other thing. We need to get rid of that now. We need to build a club in Arsenal. I saw yesterday, I think we're the 6th most valuable club in the world. But we don't behave like that. Right? Why was it we're always talking about money? Oh, if we get in, then we could get 100 million. City don't talk like that. Juventus don't talk like that.
Because they're backed
Chelsea
by a
don't
country.
talk like that.
See,
Juventus don't talk like that.
You know what it is?
Bayern Munich don't talk like
You know the
that.
thing is, right?
They're not backed by countries.
The reason why, right, Bayern Munich and Juventus have got a serious tradition behind them. So have we. But
Yeah, but
they've got. But
they're
what
run
what
right.
I'm
They
saying,
just run
yeah, but
right,
what
that's
I'm
all.
saying is that right now, Juventus are an attractive proposition.
Why are we not as big as Juventus?
Because
Why are we not able to operate like that?
Because we've not been run right.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I go, I hate this fact that we'd be like, oh, we could sell him for 100 million. Oh, Juventus don't talk like that. They talk about going to get players for 100 million. They got Cristiano Ronaldo. They pulled off the deal of the transfer window last time.
That
right?
is, that's unusual for
Bayern
them.
Munich have got Lewandowski for the past 3-4 seasons. Every year, everybody's like, yeah, Real Madrid want him. Man United want him. They'll pay 100, 200 million. They're like, you ain't having him. Lewandowski's going here. We want the best players in the world. That's how I want Arsenal to operate, because we're a club that if we got our act together, more people go and watch Arsenal than they watch Juventus. What's Juventus' capacity? 30,000, 40,000 in new grounds, right? I know that obviously the tradition, they've won a lot more. In that way, they're bigger. But as a club, we are the #1 club in London with the biggest support, with a massive worldwide fan base, with a billionaire owner as well. I mean, we got into a load of that last week. But it annoys me that we're just like always thinking about selling on.
What you got to remember is where Juventus were 10 odd years ago when they got demoted down to the bottom tiers.
Exactly. And they've come back from that, and look what they're doing now.
Exactly. So, and look how quick they've done it.
They're not there sitting there saying, oh, they didn't say, oh, we're bringing in Ronaldo, so we need to sell Dybala.
Yeah.
They got both of them. And now, all of a sudden, they're challenging. Well, not all of a sudden, but they're challenging now to win the league. They've got a manager who's in...
Well, they were always winning the league.
Win the Champions League. They've got a manager that's in demand at
to be fair,
club around the world.
They were challenging for the Champions League before Ronaldo.
Yeah, they were.
You know what I mean? And this is our issue.
And that
We don't
shows
compete.
you ambition. They're challenging before they got Ronaldo, and they've gone and got Ronaldo to try and make sure that they can put in even better challenge.
Yeah.
Whereas with us now, the way we operate,
I know.
I want to see Arsenal start operating like that.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen while Stan Kroenke's in charge. Let's get this. Let's get this straight right now. It's not going to happen.
Should we do what the Blackpool guys did?
I told you my thoughts on this. This is the thing, Robbie. I've got no problem with boycotting games. Right? If I have to, if you were to say to me now, if you boycott a season and Stan Kroenke goes, I'll take it. I'll boycott for a season. But what's the point of me doing it on my own?
I don't think a boycott would work at Arsenal.
No, but this is the thing. What's the point of me doing it on my own? What? It's not going to work, is it? It needs 25, 30,000 plus of you that don't turn up every week. It needs the away games to be empty. All the way through.
Do you remember that with Liverpool? That's why I respect them Liverpool fans. Remember when they walked out when they were going to put those prices up?
After 75 minutes.
And instantly
You know what?
But then their owners are different because their owners actually care about the club. They're always, they go to games. They've always got their eyes on what's going on.
Saying that, do you know what the best thing happened for Liverpool that day? When they done that walkout after 75 minutes, they were winning 2-0, I believe. And the team they were playing, after the walkout, scored 2 goals and made it 2-2. So it added to, I'll see what happens when there's no fans.
Yeah.
It obviously affected the players, seeing everyone get up and walk out. It was the best thing that could have happened to them.
But I want to see us operate like a big club, man. But
you're not going to happen. The only way it's going to happen is if either you buy it, or the Nigerian guy buys it.
We'll give it to the Nigerian guy. If I bought it,
the one thing I'm really worried about is after listening, what's his name? The Nigerian guy. What's his name? I call him the Nigerian guy because I can't think of his name. Nungote or something.
Dangote or something.
I can't pronounce it. But anyway, what worries me is that Kelechi would be on the board if he came in.
That'd be brilliant.
Could you imagine Kelechi doing transfer deals with his stupid microphone?
Listen, I think Kelechi would do brilliant transfer deals, mate.
Could you imagine him? Give him the money. Yeah.
The only thing, if Kelechi was on the doing the transfers on the board, we'd have about 10 Nigerian players.
That's it. and he would literally, anyone that criticises any Nigerian players, you're banned from the stadium. That's it. You're banned. Banning Arsenal fan TV, everyone. You're not allowed in. It's not allowed, and that's it.
There's some good Nigerian players, man. I'll tell you, we could do with a few more. You know the thing is as well, right? Just jokes aside, right? Why are we not hearing about centre backs, defenders? I said it right at the start. It's all right, all these midfielders, and you know what? I don't think that's a necessity this month. The necessity is centre backs, and I'm a bit worried that Unai Emery's falling into that Wenger trap now, where he's probably, because they announced this week, which I've not seen Arsenal do before, but they announced, great news, there's 6 players back in full training. Bellerin's back. Koscielny's back. Mustafi's back. Mavropanos is back. 3 centre-backs back. Monreal's back. So out of there, and I'm looking at that.
5 of those
are defensive players. I mean, listen, we've had mega problems with defence because of all those players missing. But I don't know. I looked at that and I think, and I've not really seen no links with centre backs, and I'm like, are they gonna not buy a centre back? And I think if they don't do that, our chances of getting into the top 4 could be over. We need a centre, but the defensive areas need strengthening. I'm not worried about your Suarez's and Carrasco's and that. For me, we could deal with that in the summer. Right now, what we need is sorting out our defence. We need a centre back. We know that.
Yeah, I know that.
We could possibly do with a backup right back as well. Lichtsteiner's not worked.
No.
And on that.
Oh, here he goes.
I've been waiting for you because I keep saying.
Here he goes, man. My word.
Troops I've been saying it to, and he keeps denying it, although I know he said it as well. But and I know you definitely said it. That at the start of the season, I told you, when you was there saying, well, get out Bellerin, bring Lichtsteiner in. I see what he did at Juventus. Remember when they played at Wembley?
Let's get this straight.
Right? And I said to you, hold on, let me finish.
I know what you're going to say. You're going to waffle,
I'm not waffling. Let me finish, right? I remember you going on about it. What did I say to you? I said, you've not seen him play yet for Arsenal. We don't know what he's going to be like in the Premier League.
Let me explain something to you.
Now, who's better? Lichtsteiner or Bellerin? Who would you rather have?
Let me explain something to you, yeah? First of all, right?
Answer the
Let
question.
me at least give you my side of the story here, right? Now, when Lichtsteiner came in, pre-season looked excellent, right? Looked really good.
It's all right.
Right? Bellerin.
Pre-season played well.
No, Bellerin, listen.
Pre-season.
Even in pre-season, Bellerin still looked a little shaky, and you were like,
there was only that one game when he played in Ireland against
Chelsea, and he got absolutely roasted by him. And that's where we were like, hold on a minute.
That's where who was like, hold on a minute. That's where you.
Then, first game of the season, we get an injury in the first 15, 20 minutes. Lichtsteiner has to come in against Man City, left back. He's one of the better players on the pitch. He was excellent when he came in and covered at left back. Remember, in that first 20-odd minutes or so, Maitland-Niles was getting absolutely roasted down that right-hand side. Yeah. And then when Lichtsteiner come in,
Did it right.
Man City's attack wavered down that side because he was
Probably
more
tired.
experienced. First few games that he played, there was no issues. And people was... No, it wasn't. When he first came to the club, he was decent. He was doing well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
when was
over the
that?
last couple of months...
Better than Bellerin.
And then over the last couple of months, he has just gone downhill. Like, wow, what has happened to this guy? He doesn't look like there's
Bellerin
any
at the start of the
confidence.
season was playing well. He started off the season, he's playing well. Right? I'm very critical of Bellerin last year. But I kept saying to you, when you kept saying to me in interviews and that, saying, he needs to come out of the team and bring... I go, why? He's
I
playing...
like the way he tries putting my voice on, like I was angry.
Yeah,
I was never
you're always angry.
Do you know what?
You always...
No, right. Let's get something straight, right?
Before you get to that.
Yes, I know, but
right,
listen.
Before you get to that, hold on.
Have you ever been wrong?
Hold on. Of course I've been wrong.
Well then.
But I admit when I'm wrong.
So I've admitted I was wrong.
Yeah,
I've said it.
Okay, so...
I've said it in other interviews. I admit I was wrong.
Keep it.
Keep it. Do whatever.
You never admitted you was wrong. You never admit you was wrong.
What are you on about?
All you and Troops, you always
No.
You always say,
Remember,
Robbie, when I told you this?
Sat there.
And remember when I told
I've sat there and told you very clearly recently that Bellerin is one of the biggest misses over recent weeks. And we miss him big time.
You realise it now.
Yeah, you do.
I was saying to you, I was saying to you earlier on in the season, you're jumping to thing, because I'm like, why are we going to drop Bellerin? He's playing well.
Well, I don't think he was.
And you were saying things like, well, we've bought this guy, Lichtsteiner. We got to play him. I go, no, he's got to earn his play. It's the same thing I said with Leno. When Cech came in at the start of the season, Cech was keeping goal well. And everyone's like, Leno's got to play. I said, he's got to earn his position. Let him wait. You know, obviously, if Cech is playing well, he had a good pre-season and he's still playing well, you don't just bring in someone because you bought him. He has to wait. And then, of course, you know, Cech got injured. Leno come in. He's played well. He's dropped off a bit recently, but he was playing well. And he's kept his position. That's how I like that with Emery, that he's doing. He's judging people of merit. With Ozil, you know, I know you love him, but he's not been delivering. The manager's saying you ain't playing till you start to play, right? I like that. That's one of the things I like about Emery.
We were talking about Lichtsteiner here. Let's not.
But anyway, I'm not going out. And Ozil's back, by the way, which is good news.
Yeah.
And let's hope.
But listen, what I'm saying is,
I've
said
fresh
to you,
guy.
I got it wrong. I got it wrong with it. And at the end of the day, it's
He
what it is.
He got it wrong. I like that.
What?
Good.
What? I said
Let's
to you
see now
recently.
the next one to work on his
You
truths.
tell me.
He never admits when
You
he's
tell
wrong.
me, yeah. When have I ranted this season and gone mad? I haven't. I haven't.
Liverpool.
No, that wasn't a rant. You didn't even have rant in the title. That
You
was
were angry.
mild.
Yeah, you were angry. Yeah, I know it's
Wait,
mild.
hold on a minute.
Right, you was angry. You're very angry.
You name me any Arsenal fan that walked out of Anfield, or whether you was watching it on a live stream, Sky, wherever you were in the world, if you were not angry at that.
No, of course. But you
But-
just asked me a question. I'm just saying,
I was
after that
saying,
game, you was
I was
upset.
yes, I was upset. I was angry. I was hurt. I was disappointed. But I felt that I got my views across in a constructive way without having to go absolutely mental, because I feel that I can say what I need to say, because we might get listened to this time.
But why do we need a centre?
Yeah, we need a centre back. We need a centre back.
Why are we not hearing any talk about centre backs? Why are we hearing about all these midfielders?
I don't know. Maybe they're keeping it quiet, so you're not reporting on it.
Very Wenger-esque.
That's
at the
it.
moment,
We'll
isn't
keep it quiet so you don't report on it.
It is very Wenger-esque.
Look, I'm not going down that road.
But it's true, isn't it? If this had been Arsene Wenger, and we're just hearing about midfielders and wingers and that, we'd be like, yo, Wenger, defenders.
Maybe they're just keeping their powder dry.
On that, actually, is Unai Emery, is there any difference defensively than the one with Arsene Wenger?
Don't even get me involved in this.
No, I'm just asking a question.
Nah, I'm not getting involved. Save this conversation with Claude, man. He's got plenty to say on the situation.
I'm just asking. It's a valid question. I mean,
yeah.
Apart from having Torreira in front of the back four, who's obviously defensive midfielder wise does a brilliant job, right? Is there any difference or is that just down to the personnel?
Well, firstly, can I say as well, I do like the fact that Claude's very open in his thoughts. I've seen a lot of his opinions recently, and it's quite. Do you know what? You can't take away the fact that the guy says what he thinks.
I don't agree with Claude when he says that he's not an elite manager. I think he is. I think he was at PSG.
Yeah, that I don't agree with. I don't agree with.
I think he's, he won 3 Europa Leagues in a row, and he's won multiple.
Well,
trophies.
I'll tell you something. The French Cup which Emery won 2 seasons in a row and won as part of his treble. PSG went out this week.
Exactly.
So it ain't as easy as you think. And they were at home against, I can't even pronounce it, it's a French team. But they lost that one 2-1.
And then this thing about, it's the French league. Well, where does Mbappe play? Is he not the most exciting young player in the world?
Where's Neymar play?
Some of these things, where did Lacazette come from?
Exactly. And this is what I mean.
But look, where did Dembele come from?
In terms of the defence, I would say up until we got our injuries, I'd say from the moment Rob Holding got injured, yes, the defence had some issues, but it looked better. It did look better up until the Manchester. Yes, I know it wasn't solid, and I know it wasn't. There were still tweaks needed, but you were in a position where you were going, you know what? At that time, we'd played Spurs, we'd played Liverpool at home, we'd played Manchester United away, places we notoriously concede goals, loads of goals, lose games, etc., etc. We never lost at Old Trafford. We drew with Liverpool at home. We'd beat Spurs convincingly. So at the time, you was looking at the situation. You were saying, yes, we still need defensive reinforcements, but they're doing a decent enough job because we're not losing games. So it's not too bad. Then all of a sudden, injuries just spread like wildfire. Holding gets injured. Bellerin gets injured. Monreal's injured. Kolasinac's injured. Socrates and Mustafi are both suspended at the same time. You literally rip the whole entire defence out. And then all of a sudden, you're bringing a guy back that's 30, nearly mid-30s. He's just had a serious Achilles injury and he's on his way back. But I've got to throw him into an important game because we've got no centre-backs. We've got a makeshift right wing back. We're basically playing a centre midfielder in a right wing back. We're basically playing... It was all square pegs, round holes. And everything came at the wrong time. And then Liverpool gave us a hiding on top of it. And it just compounded everything that was going wrong. And I feel that before the Manchester United game, where we knew there were defensive deficiencies and we still needed to eradicate it, we were going, okay, we'll get ourselves through till January. And then we'll get ourselves through to the end of the season. And then we can really look to address it because Emery's had a year to see what he has and hasn't got. But then, like I said, over the last 4 weeks or so, with everything that's gone on, all these goals have gone flying in because we've lost so many players and it just makes it look worse than it actually is. Because like I said, before the Man United game, none of us were denying there were still defensive problems. But they were not as bad as what we're making out right now. Because right now, we've just come off the back of 5 against Liverpool and everything else. And we're going, bloody hell, there's no difference. But before the Man United game, like I keep saying, I believe that before the Man United game, I'd done a statistic with Rob Holding in the team, and I think he played 10 games prior to the Man United game, and we'd only conceded 2 goals in a game once in that period, and that was against Spurs. But we didn't care about that because we scored 4. So before that,
we still just concede too many goals.
No, I know. We always concede the odd goal.
We were doing a lot better.
But what would be interesting is now we've got all these players back, bar Rob Holding. Yeah. Let's see if there's a little bit more stability.
But I'm just worried that he doesn't get a centre back this January.
No, I know.
Because all these players.
What we need.
I still think.
When was the last time we played a solid back 4, 5, 3, whatever you want to call it, for 2-3 games in a row?
But we haven't been able to because of the personnel. We haven't had
exactly.
It.
So that's what I'm saying.
You make a good point there.
You know, you look at Liverpool's, for example, we already know how good they are. And yes, they've had an injury problem with, is it Matip who plays next to, or is it Gomez, sorry, that plays next to Van Dijk.
And now Lovren's out.
But the goalkeeper is present. Van Dijk's present. The left back.
Trent Arnold.
And Trent Arnold, they're all present. So so losing one out of a cog, so to speak, is not too bad. You can deal with that. But if Liverpool, for example, were to lose Arnold and then a left back and then Van Dijk, for example, let's see how Liverpool do in the first leg against Bayern Munich because Virgil van Dijk's not playing because he's suspended. So let's see how they juggle around with losing key players. That's what I'm trying to say.
You make a good point, but I just think... you're right, but this is why I just think we've just gone halfway through the season. I just worry that if we don't bring in like a centre-back, Rob Holding's out for the season now.
Yeah.
We don't bring in
I feel we need to.
We've got tough games coming up. West Ham this week's not going to be easy.
No, it's not going to be easy. And then we've got Chelsea.
West Ham fans yesterday. I've never seen them so confident. Normally when I do like previews with them, they're like, when I say to them, predictions, they're like, well, I'll take a 0-0. I'll take a 1-1. They're like now saying, I confidently think we'll win 2-3-1.
They need to calm themselves down. I love the guys at West Ham Fan TV and stuff.
They are proper. Nicky was confident yesterday.
They need to calm down a little bit because West Ham are still very inconsistent. You know,
they're
the
in
thing is,
confident moods.
And I said it in my preview.
Got to win that game, innit? It's an absolutely must-win game.
Of course it is. I said it in my preview. Make sure you check it out. That they it's what West Ham turn up. West Ham went on a run a few weeks ago where they won 3-4 games.
They're going to be
in
up
a
for
row.
that one.
And then they they lost.
They're turning up against us because
everyone turns up against us.
It's a big game. It's a London derby. Nasri's back for them.
Oh, Sammy Nasri. That video, man, has just been going viral, man.
Sammy Nasri.
Yeah.
Right, and then the
mere mention of his name gets me mad. There were some uppercuts and jabs there, man. But listen.
And then they got, that Felipe Anderson, he's good enough to play for Arsenal. He's an excellent player, he is. And Arnautovic as well. He's been banging in the goals.
Well, I see that the team from China put in a 35 million bid for him. I'm hoping that before the game they up it and then they can take him and then we don't have to worry about it. Well, maybe for 50 million they will.
Declan Rice has been playing. It's going to be a tough game.
It'll be a tough game.
And we need to win that one because if we can win that game and then we beat Chelsea next week.
Oh, it's massive. It's huge. It's huge.
These next two games, that's why... Yeah. I would, all right, fair enough. There's a lot of defenders coming back, and hopefully Bellerin will be back in for these games, and hopefully we can get maybe a Mustafi back in for these. But
the flip side of
Mustafi, man.
The flip side of West Ham, right, is their last league game against Brighton. For the first first hour, they looked like the West Ham of old, which is shite. They were inconsistent. They were poor. They were all over the place. And then within the space of 2 minutes, they score a couple of goals, and for the last 25 minutes or so, they look like the West Ham that went on that little run a few weeks ago.
Did you saw that game? So they ripped Southampton in that game.
That's what I mean. So it's what West Ham turn up as well.
Everton, they're a good side.
Since they've moved to the new stadium, we've played well.
That's what they were pointing out. The West Ham fans were pointing out yesterday. Even when they played us at the Emirates, they really deserved to get at least a point out.
Yeah, they played well. They played well.
So that is going to be a tough game. Then Chelsea.
Yeah.
Two really tough games for us.
I feel
that will define whether we get in the top four or not.
We need to win the West Ham game to go into the Chelsea one with
where we're breathing down their neck.
Where it's a case of if we beat them, dependent on their result as well this weekend. I don't know who they're playing, but let's say they win and we win, then we win the game against Chelsea. We're level on points, and it's only goal difference.
I believe if we beat West Ham, we can beat Chelsea.
Of course we can.
Right? Because we're at home and we're strong at home. And attacking-wise, we know, this is the problem at Arsenal at the moment. We know we can, against everybody we score. I think the only game recently we didn't score was the Spurs game when they beat us in the League Cup 2-0. And even in that game, we had loads of chances.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we can't stop teams from scoring. That's the problem.
That's the only advantage maybe with Chelsea is the fact that their strikers are shite. That's Chelsea's problem, that they need to sort their strikers out. I watched their Carabao Cup first leg game, and they didn't deserve to lose that game. If Chelsea had a Lacazette and a Aubameyang, for example, they would have walked away from Wembley.
Maybe if we had like someone like that Rudiger, I rate him. I think he's a good.
But that's what I mean. Chelsea look really good in defence. But what I noticed with that game, saying it, the one player that we have to watch in that game against Chelsea, getting ahead of us, is Hazard. He looked head and shoulders above everyone in that game.
He's an exceptional player.
So it's all to play for. And then
we got Ozil, don't we?
Well, there you go.
He should be doing what Hazard does.
Well, there you go.
It's good enough.
They're different types of players.
He's got the ability.
He's got to turn up in this game. We've got to win that, and then we go full steam ahead into the games after. We've got Manchester United now.
Predictions. West Ham.
3-1.
Chelsea.
2-1.
All right. I hope you're right, man.
What about the Man United game? Can we predict that?
We'll leave that for now.
Let's get into that. I can't wait. Do you know
We'll
that as soon as that draw was made?
I thought we were going to get Tottenham when it was coming
Well,
down
the thing
to
was,
the
there was
last
4 teams
Yeah.
left, and there was Man United, Spurs, Arsenal, Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, oh my word.
I must say, when that one came out and we was at home, I was like...
Because that weekend, you know that weekend, it's my birthday.
Is it?
It's my birthday weekend. So my birthday's like... My birthday's 2 days after that weekend. So...
It's going to be a great game. Listen.
Good present.
I think being at home is significant.
Oh, massively.
Significant.
Massively.
And I think we can take United.
I think we do. I don't want that little rat, right? Millie rocking in our stadium and that shit, yeah? Right? And I'm telling you.
You've got to say they've got this swagger back now.
I'm going to say this. Listen, let's just wait before we start talking about Man United. The moment they drew us in the cup, yeah? My phone went off and I literally looked at it and I got Flex texting me already and I'm like, here we go. We're a month away from the game and I've already got it.
You can talk to your friend Goldbridge, man.
Don't even get me started on here.
all right, I won't.
But what I'm going to say, please, and I'm going to say this, every time we do an interview and every time we do a podcast, right up until we play Manchester United, I got a message for Aubameyang. Please, against Manchester United, if you score, pull out the mask. Yeah, pull out the mask. Go to the Man United fans, Millie rock in front of them. Do everything that we've been bantered for the last year or so. Go and do it back.
Do you know I even saw, when I went to the World Cup, do you know I even saw Lingard's dad?
Yeah,
right? And Lingard's dad come up to me, right? And he goes, remember when my son come and Millie rock at your stadium? I was going, listen, man, right? He was a nice guy, actually. Listen, you know what? Finally, just before we go, I got a question I want to ask you.
Go on, then.
Right? Who do you want to win out of Tottenham and Manchester United at the weekend? And you can't have a draw. You can't have a draw. You got to only win. Who would you rather win?
My dear God.
Remember the scenario. United are breathing down our neck. If we lost that game against West Ham, United would be level points or even take us. If they lose and we win, that opens that gap up again. But then it's Tottenham. And then Tottenham as well, they're going for the league.
I want Man United to win.
United.
I cannot have Spurs winning at all, ever. I think the only time in my whole entire life I have wanted Spurs to win a game, all right, and I can openly say this as well, was the final game of the season when Arsenal and Manchester United were going head-to-head for the league title. Manchester United were playing at Old Trafford against Spurs. We were playing at home to Aston Villa. We had to win. Man United had to lose, and we were champions. And I remember Spurs went 1-0 up, and Highbury erupted, celebrating a Spurs goal. And Man United, Beckham and Andy Cole, they ended up pulling it round and everything. But I've even spoke to Spurs fans that I know, and they said it was the most surreal experience of their life because they went 1-0 up at Old Trafford. At that time, they had a horrendous record there. But they were like, hold on a minute. We're 1-0 up. We don't want to... We're giving Arsenal the title. Hold on a minute. We can't give Arsenal the title here. And I still think that the Spurs players turned around at half-time and went, nah, we ain't winning this game for shit. But that's the only time I cannot have Spurs winning at all. You know, hopefully the game gets abandoned because they're all a bunch of wankers or whatever. But it is what it is, man.
Listen, man, thank you very much, man.
No worries.
You've been listening to the podcast. I think you just forgot the name. All Guns Blazing podcast.
You forgot what it's
He's
called now.
Laughing with that, right? You've been listening to All Guns Blazing podcast, available on all formats. Make sure you download it right now if you want to listen to it. And of course, you can watch it on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe to AFTV.